Okay, so Chris, then tell us where Riffs actually began. Where did it all start?
The first memories of it wasn't actually anyone that's involved in it anymore. Really, it was I was in the pub one day with a mate of mine called Aaron Harwood. He worked behind the bar, and he went, "I want to put on an open mic. Would you be interested?" And I went, "Yeah, I'm more than happy to help out, but I don't know any musicians anymore." So Lani, who is one of the people I do it with, I went, "Get in touch with Lani. Lani will help you out." And it started in the railway on the quay. 2016, July 2016, I think it was. And back then we didn't have a clue what we were doing. We were renting a PA off Peter Norris, and just like literally, you speak now, you speak, no, we don't want to speak. We didn't introduce the acts, so like they'd have to go up and go, "Hi, I'm insert name of act, and this is what I do." And it was just really ragtag. I think as it's gone on, I now get up and introduce and talk on if something special needs to be said that's happening in what isn't Quids In now where we are. Yeah, I get up and do that.
And you have a really good array of musicians who come and play there now at Quids In. How long have you actually been at Quids In?
Just 18 months.
Yep.
Yeah, about 18 months.
February 2017 they arrived.
Oh, he's got a good memory for dates, that man.
I just check up.
He's done the research.
That is the voice of Andy, and I'm just going to read, actually, I'm going to do this, Andy, but I'm going to read the email that you sent to me, little bits of it, because it's lovely, and I don't think Chris knows that you did this, but I got an email from Andy just a couple of weeks ago that says, "I'd like to mention the 3 young people working extremely hard to bring youngsters and new musicians into the environment, giving musicians their early breaks in getting on stage and performing to audiences. Lanny, Chris and Kieran run the biggest open mic on the island twice a month, been running it for 2 years. I think they deserve a little reward for what they are doing." He says it would be a real bonus for them all to be recognised as an important part of developing the local scene, as they've helped so many artists. And he mentions that they regularly have a dozen plus acts queuing up to perform for them, work wonders with sound production, mentoring, and even musically supporting the artist. He does say a lot more. I'll let him tell you afterwards. But that just sort of sums up really what these guys are doing. So Andy, when they sort of came to you and said, "We want to put on this open mic," what was your immediate reaction? Because it is taking on something of a bit of a risk.
Absolutely not. I knew Chris because he accompanies one of the other local artists, Nicky Naden, and we discussed it when we first, because I wanted to develop my venue for him as a music venue, and it was as soon as I had any chance of getting Riffs to come along. Originally they did one in the railway and one in Quids In a month and so on. I jumped at the chance because the vibrancy of the event is incredible and it should be applauded continuously.
And as you say, these guys between them do everything. The sound production, sort of setting up the kit, I'm assuming, as well. And from what we've just heard, the introductions for the artists too.
You've got to do it right now.
All important. So does this mean that you're potentially going to think about going into more sort of promotions type things, or are you happy with just the open mics, Chris?
I think for the time being, we're just happy with the open mics. We all work as well, so a lot of that's getting in the way of some things. Like we've dallied into it a bit, but nothing really serious yet.
And it's one of those things, like from the point of view of a venue owner, Andrew, it is difficult over here, isn't it, sometimes to sort of to get people to come down to these sort of nights. But as you say, a dozen people regularly queuing to get up and play. I mean, so it's obviously working.
Oh yeah, it works fantastically. Riffs are some of the busiest nights in the pub all the time. Obviously you get artists, but obviously then when you've got a lot of artists, they're going to bring friends, family, and also just punters out to see them. And that's what we need to keep the island scene vibrant, is to create reasons for people to come out, and Riffs do it better than most.
And did you have to adapt Quids In at all in order to make it sort of viable for people to play there?
Not so much adapt, but it has changed rather dramatically. We've created a backdrop environment and a bit of a staged area and so on, and adapted lots of bits and pieces. But it's changed the whole outlook of how Quids In really operates now, and much for the better, I would say. The music is the core of our business. We also still do all the other stuff, sport and so on, but the core now is that live music and the events for local people and promoting the local scene.
Which is fantastic to hear. We'll be talking much more about this after the break, and speaking to one of the artists who regularly plays at the Riffs Open Mic Nights down at Quids In. So if you've got any questions for my guests